fact that you're wiping your teeth off makes it even better because mine are slipping.
Yeah, you gotta wipe the gums. You gotta wipe the gums off so it sticks better.
It reminds me of, guys. Did you watch In Living Color as a kid?
No. Steph, I'm not that age.
Shut up.
Well, I probably would have been like 3, being like, I'm not getting these jokes.
I mean, I wasn't supposed to watch it. What was his name? Fire Marshal Bill. It was Jim Carrey, and he was all burnt up and all the time.
Yeah, we never had cable either, so there was never even an opportunity. And God forbid, like The Simpsons or something came on.
Oh God, no, I was never.
My mom would break the TV, like.
She would throw a Bible at you and say,
immediately burn it down to the ground. Fuck.
You can tell we've been talking for hours at this point because we're like slap happy
and like how is it too?
I don't know.
Basically, like how did we get here?
No, really, how did we get here? We started at like 11:15.
Started 8 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, I'll have plenty of time in the sun. And now I'm like, God, the fucking sun is setting basically. Come on.
So
focus, Mari.
Okay.
Focus. All right, bitch. Let's do this.
We're back. This is episode 65. I
have no idea.
I'm pretty sure. If not, then I'll just eat my words. It's fine. But I'm pretty sure it's
eat my backwards shorts.
Okay, so funny story. I went to the bathroom and I was folding the waistband of my pants over or my shorts, and I was like, my shorts are on backwards. What is actually happening in my life right now? I fixed them. They're not backwards anymore. How that happened, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm also not fucking surprised at this point.
I don't literally put anything past myself, so okay.
Today we are talking about something that I truly believe it's in some capacity everyone deals with.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
The asshole that is imposter syndrome.
Oh, the fucking elephant in the room.
Yes. I didn't even know that it was a thing until probably social media, right? Like I experienced these feelings, but didn't know that it was like an actual thing. Probably until like a few years ago, honestly.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I had no idea what imposter syndrome was until I was like, well, I don't really feel qualified to do any of this.
Literally. Like it's just really intense self-doubt, right?
Yeah. And I was like, but Mari, you went to school for all those years and took tests and have proved that you know what you're talking about and that what you're doing. But for some reason you still think you don't know. Like it's wild.
Imposter syndrome shows up in so many different areas, right?
Yeah.
You think about the first thing that comes to mind for me is wanting to do something and that little voice in your head saying, who are you to do that? Right. And you're like, yeah, you're right. Who the fuck am I to do that? And then you're like, bitch, I'm me. That's why. Right. But even starting the podcast, right?
Oh my God.
We are highly qualified people to be talking about mental health. Was there imposter syndrome about it? 100%.
142.9%.
Every time we've done stickers or when we did our merch launch, we're like, what if nobody buys? Like, what if they don't like it? What if this doesn't work out? Right? Obviously it did. It's worked out fine.
You just broke up a little bit there. So that's why I was like,
I was wondering why you like paused.
Yeah. I was like, maybe me saying, will go along with what he's talking about. Cause I was going to start writing on the time, like, fuck, please don't start skipping. No, 100% when we started to set out the little tiny journey to do the merch, I was like, it's, I think it's good that we have both. Okay. I was going to say both of each other. Shut the fuck up. Okay. I think it's good that we have each other because I don't think while we're open and vulnerable, I don't think in those moments we share that like little, like, but what if? Until like we're already too far into the process to be like, but what if it doesn't work? And it's like, well, bitch, we ordered the hoodies, so they're fucking coming. But like, so in my mind,
be real warm in the winter if it doesn't work out.
I'm gonna sew some together for sweatpants.
Like a big ass quilt of hoodies is what's gonna happen.
I literally was like, yeah, let's fucking do merch. Oh my God, yes. And then I was like, but this sounds terrible. Like, why would we do that? Like, and that just is back and forth, right?
But you readily said to me, I know this is imposter syndrome showing up for me. I know that it is. And so I'm going to trust you. And like, we're just going to do it. Right. Because here's the thing, like we talked about in that one episode, there's no decision you can't come back from. If that merch flopped, it flopped. Yes. That doesn't mean we're not going to do it again. We just know what to do differently next time. Right.
Yeah. And I definitely think that we have, I mean, that's the thing that is so upsetting too, because I think imposter syndrome is really just this fear of failure and 100%. this fear of being vulnerable, right? And putting yourself out there. Stupid. Yeah. You're gonna fail. You have to. There are every part of your life you're going to fail. There's going to be something that you need to go through. Instead of viewing it as like a failure, view it as like, okay, this is a stepping stone, and this stepping stone was a bit wobbly. Let's assess and then move forward. Like that's what we did with the merch. It was a great launch. I was hoping we would just break even. We made a little bit. That's exciting, amazing. So then that goes into then the next aspect of, okay, here's what we're gonna do differently. Let's review. How can we cut costs? How can we maybe make this a little bit more manageable or affordable? Boom, done. We've got a plan in the works. Like that's the thought. Like we would not know those things had we just stayed out of even attempting to do something like that. So that's really what it is. This imposter syndrome showing up is this fear of failure. Here's a newsflash: you're gonna. Nobody is born knowing everything. That's like all the knowledge to get them to the end of their life. Like that's a fucking. Are you serious? What?
And you only gain the knowledge by doing it.
Yes. Right? Nobody's looking at babies being like, you dumb bitch, you can't walk, you fucking idiot, dumb kid. Like what?
Fucking everything.
You can't put the spoon in your mouth, you moron. Like nobody's doing that. So what the fuck are you doing like that as an adult? Have you ever ordered merch? Then shut the fuck up and do it. Like, what are you talking about?
Or even think about launching the master classes, right?
Yes.
We had all these ideas and we were so excited, and then it was getting closer, and we always have this thought, and we've done how many master classes at this point, and each one we're like, what if nobody buys? Then nobody buys.
Then they don't.
Then we do another one, right? Yeah. Like we learn what people need and we act accordingly, right?
Yes.
Same thing with me increasing my prices. I was convinced I couldn't increase my prices and nobody would want to come to me. And the current clients I have are going to not want to come to me anymore either. And it was all this anxiety of the what ifs and what have yous that was creating this self-doubt or imposter syndrome that was getting in the way of growth, right? Like it was getting in the way of me doing things that I really wanted to do.
100%. I think it's being very intentional with the way that you're speaking to yourself. Even if it is something that you haven't done, instead of saying like, I can't, or, I'll fail, or I won't this, it's just like, this is a new experience and I'm allowing myself the space to try. That's all that it is. Allow yourself to try. But like, also, what if it works out?
Yeah. And I would bring it back to our like coined phrase of according to fucking who can you not do that?
Yes.
Right?
And the other one, here's the thing.
Yes.
You can either proceed moving forward with life and try and see what happens, or you can stay stuck.
Yep.
It's your choice. You can do it. I can tell you what's going to be more fulfilling. Having experiences and putting yourself out there and trying and potentially attempting to live in your purpose versus being like, well, it's safe over here. I want to be safe.
I'd rather not look dumb. I'd rather not look like I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody knows what they're doing.
But you look dumb. But you do look dumb. Here's the thing. You look dumb because you're staying in the same fucking thing for the past 30 years. People, oh man, me being in a marriage that did not serve me, feeling like it's comfortable. You look stupid as fuck. You look dumb as shit, bitch. You look so dumb. You are really dumb. Like, you look so stupid. Do you not? You look so dumb just staying in a relationship where you are not being like, there is no valued, fucking vulnerable. You are not valued. You are not respected. Reinforcing this stupid ass idea because you're afraid of living alone, because you're afraid of some paperwork. Right. What the fuck? What? Make it make sense. You don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to look like I failed. You did fail. You are failing in that relationship, and it's okay. So here's the thing: instead of just continuously failing in this relationship, how about you leave? Just see what happens. Try it out. Oh, look at that, Mari. You're fucking thriving. Oh my God, who would have thought? That's wild, because you actually put yourself first.
I will tell you that my imposter syndrome is substantially exacerbated by being premenstrual.
Yeah. Well, I think any part of my life is
any symptom I could ever have is exacerbated by
literally
being premenstrual.
Makes me want to punch kittens. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I feel 100% operate in that emotional mind of like, you're fucking worthless. You're not enough. Yep. You suck. You're not like, what does that even make sense? You're not even like, oh my God, all the time. All the
How
time.
many times as you, what? God. How many times as a therapist have you had the thought of like, what am I even doing? Am I even qualified to be doing this? Like even throughout your career, right? Like not in the beginning, because like that self-doubt in the beginning is evident.
Makes
all the
sense.
time
You don't know
because
anything.
you're overwhelmed with like, can I even do this? But even later in your career, I've been a practicing therapist for 10 years plus at this point, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I still have doubt sometimes when I'm working with a client and maybe there isn't any movement, or I'm fumbling over my words, or I can't remember something that day, where I'm like, you're so like, I don't tell myself that I'm dumb, but like,
Yeah.
are you as good as you think you are? Right. There's a little voice that inside of me is like, are you as good as you think you are?
Mhm.
And then I have to challenge myself and say, yes, I am. There is evidence that I am as good as I say that I am.
Yes, I am actually.
Yes, I actually, bitch. Yeah, I am.
Yes, I am.
Is that hard to do sometimes? Yeah.
Oh,
If I'm only
absolutely.
functioning out of emotion, my anxiety will convince me that I'm not as
Mhm.
good as I think I am. Right.
Mhm.
There are plenty of exercises you can do therapeutically to challenge those thoughts, but you also have to make the decision to say, I don't want to doubt myself anymore. Right. I don't want to function like this anymore. I don't want to think that I'm not good enough to do something. I don't want to think that I'm not smart enough. You have to tell yourself, like, I want something more for me,
Mhm.
and then act accordingly.
When you ask the question of like, how many times has that shown up for me, or has it shown up for me? I will say that it is exponentially increased when I am not living in my purpose, i.e., when I am not surrounding myself with people who have the same goals or aspirations, in the sense of like wanting to be more. Like they don't
Yeah.
have to want to open a business, they don't have to want to, you know, be a therapist, but in the sense of like wanting to be more and like not wanting to stay stagnant, it 100%, like, again, my marriage was a good example of that, of like, wasn't with somebody who was helping foster that like support and connection and validation. So absolutely would show up. Working at the hospital that we worked at, 100%, I have never questioned more in my entire life my purpose for being a therapist than I did when working at that job. I was about 75% sure I would not be a therapist anymore. I was trying to figure out, like, could I be a waitress or a bartender the rest of my life? Maybe I wanted to be a beautician. Maybe there would be something like creative wise that I could do, but there's no fucking way I could be a therapist for the rest of my life because of how draining and exhausting and not living in my purpose and not surrounding myself with the positivity and like even just the neutrality, like not like your mindset is key. It's key when you are going through these things, right? Because imposter syndrome is just a cognitive error. It's just that thought that's coming in. And if you're not challenging, it's going to run rampant. But the thing is if you're not challenging, it'll run rampant. But also if you're not surrounding yourself in an environment where you feel supported and validated and like you can challenge, like you have the audacity to even do that.
Yeah.
Like then that's just compounding on top of it. And then you're like, you know what? Yeah, no, I don't think I should be doing these things. I don't blah, 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 blah. And then it doesn't help when toxic ass people are around you of like, maybe this just isn't the job for you. Is it not the job for me? Because I opened my own business. I have a podcast and I was voted best of Racine. Is that not the job for me though?
Well, and I think what made it even harder in that situation is that we worked in such an acute environment that there wasn't always a lot of visible change. There was always a lot of visible crises, which then created doubt in us of like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, what am I doing at this point? I feel like I'm not helping anybody. And that mindset can kind of stay with you if you allow it to, right? Again,
and the second that you did good, they were like, oh, okay, so you can handle more. Here's more.
Yes.
So there was never a moment to like revel in that good experience. It was like, next.
Yep.
So it absolutely has shown up. And I think imposter syndrome just relates back to being able to recognize, what is the fear? What are you afraid of? What fear are you operating out of? What does that look like? And also, like, what are you telling yourself? What does that internal ad campaign look like? Are you telling yourself you can't and that it's too hard, it's impossible, it's this, I don't know enough, I'm stupid, whatever? Well, then, yeah, you're going to believe those things. Like, Steph and I aren't fucking kidding when literally, if you look at any mode of therapy, any theory, any read any self-help book you want to, listen to any mental health podcast you want to, it literally all comes down to your mindset. It comes down to the way that you are viewing your perception of this problem, this issue, whatever is in front of you. And if you are sitting here telling yourself you can't, you're not smart enough, you're not qualified, you're not these things, then yeah, I don't know. There ain't no amount of me talking, spitting straight facts at you is going to change that.
Yep.
So that's the important thing about imposter syndrome. Again, how do we get over it? Well, we start to recognize like what is feeding into my purpose and dreams, like what is feeding into this imposter syndrome, and how do I move away from that? Also, like, what am I trying to do? Is my goal big? Is it scary? Then acknowledge that. Acknowledge that shit instead of just being like, oh, I shouldn't do it. Acknowledge that it's fucking scary.
Mm-hmm. Also, stop comparing yourself to other people,
Yes.
because that's going to make the imposter syndrome significantly worse. Well, I don't have as much money as she does. I'm not as skinny as her. I'm not as smart as her. I don't have the resources she does. Okay, figure out what you do have then.
Literally.
Problem solved. You're not helpless. I promise you're not helpless.
Well, and you're never going to be that person.
Right. You're not
You
supposed
won't.
to.
You're you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking world needs you. You were put here for a reason. The odds of you being born were 1 in 400 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you doing playing with your goddamn life?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna
Also
sit
know
here and
that,
tell
like-
me that you beat those odds and have the audacity to tell me that you can't. Okay. All right. Then you can't. Then you can't. Then you don't want it bad enough.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, also know that like you're not alone, right?
No.
Successful people experience imposter syndrome.
All the time.
It's a normal occurrence. Does it suck? Yeah, it's fucking dumb. But once you can recognize that that's what's happening and it's not actually your intuition telling you not to do something, it's just imposter syndrome trying to prevent you from being hurt.
It's just fear.
Yeah. I hope all that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. And here's the thing. If you're sitting here saying it doesn't make sense, you're not ready for the message.
Sure.
You're not ready for the message. Shut the podcast off. Go take a walk. Cool off. Shake it off. Go work out. Change your attitude. I don't care what it is, but you're not ready for the message.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not. And that's okay. Because you're in a different change state. Somebody listening to this is like, you know what? I am my own fucking worst enemy. I am my own worst critic. And I do need to change these things. You are in the state of change where you're ready to make action.
Yep.
Somebody who's sitting here arguing with us in their mind and right now, you're in the pre-contemplative state of change. You ain't ready, honey. And that's okay. Nothing is wrong with that. You don't need to be ready right now.
Mm-hmm.
You will one day. You're listening to the podcast. So that means you're dipping your toe in the water. You'll get there one day. And that's okay. You don't have to be there today.
Yep.
But shut it off. Don't sit here and argue back and forth and get in a shame spiral and get upset. Don't do all that. Don't. Come back to this when you need it.
Mm-hmm. I hope that woke somebody up and they're
I
going
hope
to
it
chase their
did.
dreams immediately.
Yeah, I hope you fucking woke up. Again, 1 to 400 trillion odds, and you have the audacity to sit here and say, I'm not good enough. Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
What? Come again? That sounds disrespectful as fuck, to be honest with you. Disrespectful as fuck to the universe. Ooh, I refuse. Anyways, find us at Rewriting Her Story Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. Find Steph at The Spooky Fit Therapist. The. Shoot, I didn't say it in the other ones, whatever. Someone's going to find you.
I think if you
They'll
search
find-
spooky,
they'll
it'll
find
come
you.
up anyway, so.
Yeah. So Steph is The Spooky Therapist. I am at BEA_XO11. I feel like I need to change my name now. I want to change it.
It was so scary to me.
Oh, of course it's scary. You feel like you're going to lose people
Which
that
is
they
so
don't know.
dumb. But people are like, it's really
Not
not that
dumb.
scary.
Don't put the judgment on. It is
No, but my
scary.
OCD brain was like, okay, now you have to go back in every podcast episode and change it so they know where to find you. And then I was like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, we're not doing that
I'm
at
not
all.
doing that.
We're not, no. I mean, yeah, I know I'm not. I know I'm not doing that. That sounds awful. That sounds fucking tedious and stupid.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yes.
I don't know if there's other parts of my little spiel I need to say. I don't think so. If you have questions, concerns, comments, message us. We'd love to hear from you. If you want any topics covered, let us know. We're always looking for new topics. Always,
Yes.
always, 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 always. So even if you're like, I don't know if anyone wants to hear this. Yes, we do.
Yep.
We do.
We do.
We do.
We do.
The second you start questioning yourself, second that imposter syndrome, who am I to be able to suggest a topic? I'm inviting you. I invite you every fucking episode. So please
Yes.
email us. Okay.
Yep.
We love you guys. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.